Hey guys, welcome to our last lesson, lesson 7, and we are still factoring, but now we're going to solve by factoring. And so I brought back the factoring hand, so we're going to be falling back on that. And so let's go ahead and get started. So if you will recall from Algebra 1 or Algebra 2, when you have fractions, you want to multiply everything by the LCM. So because we just have 3, our LCM is going to be 3. So what happens is, what happens is that, like in this case, these 3's cancel out. So I'm going to have 3x squared minus 10x equals 8. And so I can't really do a lot with this. So I'm going to move it over and set it equal to 0. So that is our goal when we solve, is we want to set it equal to 0. So I have 3x squared minus 10x minus 8 equals 0. So I'm going to go ahead and factor this. So 24x, 2 factors of 24 that subtract to give me 10. So I have 12x and 2x. So I have minus 12 plus 2 because that's a minus. And so let's see, 3x squared minus 12x plus 2x minus 8 equals 0. And then I'm just factoring by grouping here. So I'm left with 3x plus 2 and then x minus 4. So our goal, it's called the zero product property, but what it says is if this is 0, 0 times anything, I don't care what this is 0. And then if another situation, if this were 0, I'm not going to care what this is because 0 times anything is 0. So what we're going to do is set both things equal to 0. So x minus 4 equals 0 and 3x plus 2 equals 0. So x equals 4, and when I move the 2 over, it becomes negative, and so x equals negative 2/3. So these are my final answers for solving this problem. So go ahead and try this one. Go ahead and move that 36 over and just kind of take it from there. If it were me, to make it easier on yourself, I would take this and move these over there just so that x to the 4th is positive. It makes things a lot easier when you start off with the positive side. So a lot of times if this is a negative, I'll move it over to the other side to make it positive. Okay, go ahead and take it from there. Okay, so we actually have 4 solutions because when we did this, we broke this down more and we broke this one down more. And we have x equals positive 3, x equals negative 3, x equals positive 2, and x equals negative 2. Okay, on this one, I think I'm going to move these 2 over in this direction and go ahead and take it from there. Okay, so I end up with positive 2, negative 2, and negative 1. Go ahead and do this one. So this one is very similar to one we've done earlier, and see what you get. So this one, I always look at it like this and go ahead and factor it. So instead of saying x plus 4, I'm going to say w minus 15 plus 4. And instead of saying x plus 1, I'm going to say w minus 15 plus 1. And so when I do that, I just simplify it. And again, we're going to set this to 0 and this to 0. And we end up with w equals 11 and w equals 14. Okay, so what happens if you don't have a trinomial, if you just have a binomial? So I'm still going to set it to equal to 0 and see what happens. And I see that they both have a GCF, so I'm going to factor that out as well. And then the same thing applies. Like if I set this equal to 0, the whole thing's 0. And if I set this equal to 0, the whole thing's 0. So 15x equals 0, so x has to equal 0 here. And for this one, x equals 2. Okay, on this one, this is absolute value, so we're going to set it equal to both positive 8 and negative 8. So go ahead and do that. Okay, so we ended up with the 2 equations, x squared minus 4x minus 21 equals 0, and x squared minus 4x minus 5 equals 0. So when I did each of these, I actually have 4 different solutions here. And that's it, guys. We are done.